Oh, that shot's way off. We're gonna have to redo that. Because if I see this, there's none of this, and there's all of this.
What's wrong with it?
There we go. Yep, and
Explains also why you didn't have your headset on. He told you that shot was wrong.
all right, and then let's tilt. See how there's all this white space over here? Yeah. Let's bring that in. Oh, nope, too far. And bring. Nope. Yeah. Oh. Push it back and stop. Hey, there we are. Let's try the other two cameras. Start here on Mr. Officer. Officer Schoeff over here.
Go to cam 3.
Hey, it's me. All right. I like it.
Yes.
Anyone? West Side Story?
Boy, crazy boy.
Go back to your closed door, Schultz.
Just stay cool, boy. Hazy, Daisy, a little. All right.
Are we starting?
Yeah. This is it.
Man.
This is gonna be it. Hello, Carmel High School, and welcome to the series finale of the Officer Schoeff Show. I'm Jack Missler, as always, alongside Officer DJ Schoeff. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it. I've appreciated the entire year and the opportunity to come in and chat with you for a little bit.
I think it's been tons of fun.
Yeah.
Learned a lot along the way. On this last show, there are a few questions that I've been kind of saving.
Yeah.
First, I want to start with a big part of being in the school that all teachers, administrators, and resource officers get is to be able to watch their students kind of move along this journey. Yeah. What has been the best part of for you being able to watch those students move along?
Yeah. Well, you know, I actually just had a conversation with someone else about this earlier today, the idea of being able to see, and I had the transition from middle school to high school. So many of you I've known since 6th grade or sometimes even before then, and had the opportunity to see that progression happen from the squirrely middle school age of doing all sorts of silly, mischievous, immature things to, you know, now in just a few weeks being able to watch many students walk across the stage and get their their diploma. So, you know, it's really, it's an awesome experience to have that. And it's fantastic to see the success of students. It's fantastic to see students overcome challenges, learn how to communicate, learn how to self-advocate, learn how to grow through difficult times, and progress and be successful. But I also really, it doesn't stop there. Like you know, I have many students who will email me. They're in college today or about to graduate college, in fact, because my very first group of students that I worked with at Carmel Middle School are graduating college this year. So fantastic opportunity to see kind of how that goes. They communicate back with me and say, here's where I am, here's what's going on, here's where I'm going to go live, here's what I'm doing. And I just love that. I love seeing that progression. I love seeing the success. It's motivating to me. And then I look at our freshmen that are here today, and I think of just it's going to be a snap of the fingers, and in 4 years they're going to be walking across that stage, and I'm going to see this every year, you know, along the way. So it's really a lot of fun to see that.
You were talking about the kind of overcoming challenges that a lot of you know, middle school and high school is a rough time for anyone, you know, regardless of what happened. How have you kind of noticed, especially with this generation and being able to work with students for so long, what have you noticed has kind of been the biggest challenge that we've overcome?
Well, yeah, in your generation, you're dealing with different aspects of challenges than what any other generation has ever dealt with. And we as parents and we as adults, we tend to want to try to emulate what our parents did with us. And I just asked a group of parents the other day, how did we have a conversation with our parents about social media? Well, we didn't, right? We didn't have that conversation. And it was just a reminder to them to recognize that you all are growing up in a different time than what we were. And we have to change how we do things as adults to help you be successful. So I think the social media aspect, the technology, is certainly a big factor in how you all work through things, and reminding you and working with you all on the importance of learning how to communicate face to face, which is still valuable, and it's incredibly valuable, and it will be valuable. That's not going to change, even though we have a lot of social media avenues for communication. That face-to-face communication is very important, and making sure that even though the technology is there, and I support it, and in fact I hope you're following me on social media, because I want to share with you a lot of things. The reason I use social media and I share with you all is I want to, first of all, I want to model the appropriate behavior on social media. And I want to be able to see if you all are doing anything that is going to be detrimental to your success. Those are factors. And then help guide you with it if you do. I'm not critical nitpicking social media. I think if I were to say the one thing is that the challenge that you have that never before you has experienced is that social media piece. And knowing where to use that and use it effectively, and knowing where to make sure that you learn how to effectively communicate face-to-face in addition to the social media.
Well, I think the analogy that I've always been told with social media was it's the hammer. It can either be used to build or destroy. It's how do you use it, and so I think that is something that we've noticed. I think you're right when you say that my parents never had to worry about a tweet offending someone.
Right.
And
right.
so I do think that is an interesting element, and going forward into college and starting your professional life, that will be a major player. I also want to ask you, so a big part of this kind of transitional period, juniors becoming seniors, the new 8th graders becoming freshmen, and the seniors going off to college, what do you feel like gets lost the most in that transition? The thing that people have in high school and that they don't carry to college, or they have in middle school but they drop it off, or when they become student leaders, they just don't seem to hold on.
Well, I think, and I've probably said this before on here, but it is so important to remember that every interaction you have, you're either building a relationship or you're tearing it down, much like your hammer analogy. The relationships you have with people at high school, your peers at high school, you have no idea when you're going to cross back over that bridge. The teachers at your high school, I'm now seeing students that I worked with before asking me for letters of recommendation to come back and work inside Carmel Clay Schools as a variety of different things. If the bridge is burned for any of your teachers or any of your peers, then it's really hard to cross back over that bridge. So I would encourage people to know that no matter what level you're in, and no matter where you are in life, your relationship building pieces are building bridges that you may very well cross. If you don't build them strong, if you don't at least treat people with respect and kindness and let them know that you care about them, then crossing that bridge at some point in time might be when you least expect it. It may be in an interview for a job. It may be looking for a letter of recommendation. It may be, I might be on a gurney in a hospital one day and look up and see a former student of mine. I hope that's a positive relationship, right? Yeah. I want that to be positive. So that is important, that we just maintain those positive relationships wherever we are, whatever we're doing, in whatever level we're at, whether we're moving from middle school to high school to college, is that every interaction we have is either making or breaking a relationship that could impact you down the road.
As we kind of move towards the end of the year and finals and the stress that comes with that and those kinds of things, what is something that you would say that you should be doing every day to make sure that you're not getting overwhelmed? Because you look at that AP, IB test schedule and it's daunting. How would you recommend making sure that you stay smooth through that?
Well, time management is so important. It is for all of us. And we go back to our social media. It's very easy for us to be distracted from the things that we're working on, and to say, well, I'm going to set that aside for a little while. I've got my Twitter I want to look at. I want to look at my Insta for a while. I want to check out what's going on. It's what I would recommend is that you have designated time. You have a specific time. I'm going to spend 2 hours doing this, and then after that I'm going to spend an hour on social media. But really managing that time. And that's going to be so important for your generation moving forward with the technology that you have. as it has been really for me as I've transitioned to the technology, trying to keep up with you all in the social media as well. But that time management is so very important for all that we do, and designating and really truly scripting things out. But the good news is, with your technology and utilizing your technology, you could set that on your phone. You know, I set it on your phone that from this time to this time, this is what you're doing. And then when the alarm goes off that your next event's happening, then you start your next event. Managing that time is really going to be important.
When we, this is our last show, and as we look kind of forward into the future, if you had to describe your legacy at Carmel High School, we talk about with John Williams going away and the senior class is moving on, and at this time of year, the question of what do you leave behind always comes. What do you think your legacy would be, and I think also, what do you think that my senior class, the looking back, what do you think our legacy would be?
Well, I'm going to butcher this quote. I don't remember it exactly, but my legacy isn't really as much about what I think I've done. It's really about what you all think I've done. And if you walk out of here and you have a positive thought process about me as an individual, and a different and more positive thought process about law enforcement in general, specifically Carmel Police Department, but just law enforcement in general, then that's success for me from the relationship building piece. But my legacy isn't about what happens with me; it's about what happens with you. What I feel I drive from, and my motivation is, this senior class is going on and doing bigger and greater things than what I could even imagine. Most of you all are doing things that, certainly back when I was seeing you in 6th grade, I was wondering what you were going to be doing as a senior in high school. And many of you have well over exceeded what I had thought of at that point in time. That's where I come from. I mean, it isn't about what I'm doing. It's about what you're going to do and how I've built a relationship with you. And that's what I hope for. Your class, your senior class, with the exception of your freshman and sophomore year, I've spent the last 7 years. So 5 of your last 7 years, I've spent picking on you all in some capacity. And so it's fun to see that. I can't wait. Obviously it's bittersweet, but I can't wait to see you cross the stage. And, the excitement that happens at graduation, and the preparation, and the behind the scenes stuff that's going on, and seeing people, and then right after it's done, and the parents, the excitement and all of that, that's so motivating to me. And what I would want for you and your class as legacy is to remember that the bridges that you build here are impacting you later in life. Absolutely will. And you're going to look back at this 20 years from now, and you're going to say, I could have done this differently. I want you to be able to look back and say, I'm really happy at how I handled my senior year. I'm really honored to have been a Carmel Greyhound and a graduate of Carmel High School, and the successes that I've had here.
Last thing I wanted to say is that we've had a great time on the show, and I'm fortunate enough to be one of the students that was with you from 6th grade to now, and I just wanted to say thank you for all that you've done for us. I know that there are a lot of students like me who've really been helped by the work you do and are really motivated by what you do.
I really appreciate that.
It shows us that there are, I think all too often we see on news and TV that, officer mishandled a situation or unfortunate killings or what have you, and to me it's always refreshing when I get to go into your office and talk to you and understand that you may see the bad, but in reality there's a lot of good, and I think you contribute to that good, and I want to say thank you and just appreciate it.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that, very much so. Now I have a couple questions for you.
Uh-oh.
That's all right. Change your show up a little bit. Do we need to switch seats or anything?
I think
We're
we'll be-
okay?
I think
All
we'll
right,
be fine
here, I don't
with-
want to
with
mess
the
up your
current
camera
seats.
angles. You kind of just alluded to it, but you're asking about legacy, and I would twist that back to you, and we've known each other for many years now, and you've we've had that opportunity to interact. And I guess I would ask of you, what's the benefit of having a school resource officer? Why would people feel as if a school resource officer is a positive thing? And if there's negative, you got your open book right here. Let's go.
Well, I think without a doubt the biggest benefit is, and we've talked about it on the show before, but being able to have a friend in law enforcement. And it's not, and I think the type of friendship is very important. It's not if I get pulled over with a ticket, I'm not calling Officer Schoeff to get out of it. But what I am doing is then when I come back in on the school day, I'm going up to Officer Schoeff and saying, hey, I got this ticket. I want to say I knew I was doing something wrong. And being able to one, when you're in that interaction, getting that ticket, it's polite. It's being able to say, hey, imagine if this was Officer Schoeff. I wouldn't be telling, oh, this is ridiculous. I wasn't, instead you're saying, I apologize for the speed. I lost track of it. And I think making sure that how you approach situations with law enforcement, because like you've said, no one calls 911 to say I'm having a great day, and so interactions with police officers often aren't awesome. And so being able to look at that in a positive light and making sure that there is someone who's not, it's really easy to watch the news and then be angry at police. It's easy to get to that conclusion, and to being able to have people like you who are standing and saying, look, we're nice guys. There are laws that we have to follow, and we will enforce them. Mm-hmm. But overall, we're here to make everyone safer and better.
Yeah, good. And your legacy of your class, what do you hope for?
What I would like is for, I think we've seen it a lot this senior year, but for students who come after us to be able to look at us and understand that there is a right way and a wrong way to make change in the world around you. I think our class has done a lot to change this school, just like the class before us, and hopefully, I would imagine, just like the class after us. But I think we, as a class, have shown that there's different ways to make change. There is, you can get angry and yell and shout, and oftentimes it results in change that you don't like. Or you can sit down, have the conversation, ask why. I can guarantee you, if there's a policy or anything at this school that you disagree with, if you went to an administrator and say, hey, I got a problem with this, they would be more than happy to sit down with you, tell you, here's why we're doing it, here's why we have been doing it. If you still have an issue with it, they then will often give you an avenue to change it. And I think our class has gone down that avenue a lot. We've been able to make changes in our school for the better and really do so in a nice, respectful way. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a key component, and I hope that the juniors and so on learn that there is that way, and that being angry doesn't solve anything.
Well, that actually gives me a tremendous amount of hope, because as we see in our society today, we're having a lot of people with violence and hatred. And sometimes that doesn't get us anywhere. Well, most of the time that doesn't get us anywhere. Mm. And the respectful and professional way of communicating things and working through things is something that I really hope we continue to see progress. And for you as seniors to walk out of here with that mindset would be fantastic. So I really appreciate that.
And we look at in society today, in politics, in local government, anywhere in life, I think hopefully it's an endeavor that my class has learned, and that will continue, that there are going to be things in the world that you don't like. Mm-hmm. Nothing will go perfect, but there are ways to change the world around you that don't involve being angry. Sending a hateful tweet to the politician or the person who you don't like, it may feel good in that minute, but nothing's going to change for that. If anything, it's going to make them dig in more and have a stronger opposition. So I think being able to respectfully communicate, this is why I disagree, mm-hmm. is hopefully a lesson that our class has learned, and that will be left for the next.
Fantastic.
Got anything else?
No, I don't have anything else.
All right. Well, with that,
I get to do this.
okay.
This is my last show.
This is your last show.
First of all, I'll tell you this. I'm really great. We came up with this idea of doing this show, and you ran with it. And I'm grateful because this is an opportunity for me to build relationships with students that may not be in front of a classroom for me, but hopefully being able to see it. I also have had the opportunity to share this across the country to a lot of different people, and I know that there are some others that are trying to do similar tasks within their own schools as school resource officers to be able to do the same type of thing. So I'm grateful that you gave me that opportunity to do that. And I'm very proud of you and the folks that have worked in this room and behind the scenes, because they've really done a great job of preparing this and working through this season. I'm hoping that next season there would be another opportunity, but it won't be with Jack Missler because you are on to bigger and better things. So I'm really grateful for what you've done and the folks that are in here as well. So very, very thankful for that opportunity. So with that, this ends our final episode of the Schoeff Show. Thank you so much for watching any and all of the episodes that you see, and we look forward to seeing you in the near future.
Bye-bye.